you're being asked to find the probability that A, which I'm going to put down in its full form, the first digit is odd, right? And the first digit is even. Now, when you see the word and, you can think of that as both of them happening at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if you think of or, it's the first guy or the second. You're basically taking the first probability, and as long as there's no overlap, just adding the second, like we did with the Monday thing. Now, out of all the digits that you could get, right, of all the 3-digit numbers, imagine that's a 3-digit number. What's the probability that the first digit is odd and it's also even? And the answer is, that's impossible. If it's odd, it can't be even, and if it's even, it can't be odd. So the probability that the first digit is odd and at the same time it's also even is a big fat 0. It ain't going to happen.
Oh, well, that's annoying. That makes sense. Why? That makes too much sense. That's why I was like, it's going to be so simple. Okay.
Well,
obviously, one and two cannot exist at the same moment.
Right. So the probability is 0. Now, this one is an and story, right? I'm sorry, an or story. So it's the first digit is odd. I'm not putting in the A's again. I'm putting in the full words, right? Or the first digit is even. So what's the chances that the first digit is odd or it's even? Well, it's going to be one of the two.
So it's 5/10.
Yeah, but the other one's also 5/10. So altogether, 1.
Oh my God.
Because that's guaranteed to happen. Isn't the first digit, it's going to be odd or it's going to be even. Right? It's going to be one or the other. So that's guaranteed, that's a 1. And E, now that's not so easy. They call it E.
I got E, but I didn't get F.
Okay. Okay, then we'll skip by that one. F is an or, right? So it's F now. It's A or C. All right. Okay. So I'll put that into English again. What's the probability that the first digit is odd
Second
or
digit.
C is the second digit is odd? Now, that one's a killer. That's the one that's going to cause us the biggest amount of trouble. I know that there's 3 digits, so I know that there's 1,000 on the bottom. Now I'm going to have to figure out this thing or this thing, right? First digit is odd or the second digit is odd. And we have to try and figure out of all the 100, well, I should say all the 1,000 digits that can happen, how many of them are that? And okay, so let's look at the first digit is odd. Now, kind of a visual person. If that guy is odd, right? So it's a 1, 3, 5, 7, or 9, and I don't care what's happening here, isn't that going to be half the digits? So that's going to be 500 of the numbers will start with an odd one. Does that make sense?
Why would it be half?
Well, half of them are even and half of them are going to be odd. So the first digit being odd on its own, right, is 500. So I'm putting the 500 in here. Now, Let's look at the second digit is odd. I don't care what goes there. That's going to be odd. And I don't care that's going to be in there. So the chances that the second digit is odd, that will happen 500 times. But, and this is the sneaky part now, aren't there some combinations here that are in both groups? So aren't there
Yes.
some digits where both of them are odd? Now, what would those guys look like? Well, there'd be an odd digit here, there'd be an odd digit here, and we don't care at all about the last one. Now, that one's going to be a bit sneakier because I need to know how many of these there are because I'm double dipping, I'm counting them twice. And whatever that number is, I'm going to take it away from here so that I'll have actually counted everybody that we're looking for. So it's first digit odd, 500, plus 500 for second digit odd, take away how many are both, right? So if this one's going to be odd, and at the same time this is going to be odd, but that can be anything it likes, how many of the 1,000 digits is that true for? Well, I'll make my life a little bit easier. Since the last digit can be anything, I'll just remember to multiply my answer by 100. Of 2-digit numbers, how many of them are odd, like 13 and 75 and 77, right?
You're asking me how many?
Yeah, how many of the 100? Because there'd be 100 2-digit numbers. How many would be odd and odd? Can you think of
50.
what that would be? 50 would be too many.
Oh man.
Right, here we go. Half of them are odd, right? Odd and even. Half of them are odd. Together, that's a quarter. And a quarter of all the 2-digit numbers gets me 25. And then I times it by 10. And that's how I came up with the 250. So that's how I kind of figured it out. Now, I guess you could simply just write down all the numbers and count them, but that would take you a couple of days. So what we're doing here is we're trying to find some logical way of figuring out A or C. So it's all the ones in A, all the ways in C, take away the both. Right. Are you comfortable where how I figured out odd, anything you like, and how I came up with the answer 250?
Well, yes, it makes sense, but obviously I'm still just trying to, grasp the concept.
So what you got now is 750
Yep.
out of 1,000, so you get 0.75. Or if you want quarters, if you're a fraction person.